This is the official Democrat Party battle plan with production movies, $350 million budgets, Civil War, promoting it. Now the new movie, Battle After Battle, with DiCaprio, where it's set in a fictional fantasy land in the U.S. where they have this hot sex and it's so awesome, and they go around with plastic explosives and dynamite machine guns killing ICE officers all over the U.S. and freeing Hispanics from concentration camps.
What is the Podesta plan?
Well, when I talk about this, I get chills because in August of 2020, Breitbart wrote about it, the Daily Caller wrote about it, but the New York Times wrote about it first. And Podesta does this big Democrat Party war game.
Which Podesta? John
Podesta.
Former White House Chief of Staff, yep.
Absolutely. And then later the climate czar for Biden, or divvying up the climate money, stealing it. He comes out of this huge report. They published the whole thing. And I'm reading like this, it was like 70 pages or something. And they say, if Trump wins in 2020, this is in August, months before, which they were able to steal it, so he didn't. He said, we're going to have Western states secede. We're going to have blue cities secede, but we'll start with the Western states, California, Oregon, and Washington. And we'll call it over migrants and sanctuary cities and healthcare at first, which they're now doing. I'm getting chills because it's all happening. Like you go to a play and you're reading, oh, the next act is this. And Romeo and Juliet, I mean, it's all right there. And they say, if he wins, we will say it's illegitimate. We will have blue states first secede and that they're going to be sanctuary cities for the illegals. Then when there's civil unrest, which they'll furnish, Trump will send the National Guard, and then there'll be a massacre of the migrants. And then we will kick off a civil war. Then all the blue cities across the country will secede. Then New York, Massachusetts, and others will secede. And we'll form what we call the Western Alliance. And we will then, the U.S. military will be with us because they control the generals. People that think that don't think otherwise, that was Trump's big mistake he found out. Most of them are globalists at the top, not your enlisted, they're great people. And that they would then form a military alliance if Trump didn't stand down, and they would march on D.C. And then they made a movie produced 2 years ago, they released last year, called Civil War, that is the last act of the Podesta plan. That's in a 2+ year Civil War, race-based. At the end, they go and, the black female sergeant kills the Trumpian figure in the White House. And that's because evil white people are out massacring brown people across the country. So the U.S. military reconvenes under a Gavin Newsom's command type. And then they come in and then they take over the country, and then they re-educate all the evil right-wingers and evil white people. And then I saw Gavin Newsom on Colbert about 3 weeks ago, and he said, oh, we're forming, and they hold a map up, the Western Alliance, and it's for migrants and healthcare, and we're getting ready to go on offense. And Colbert goes, ah, he does that demon face, he goes, ah, and the whole crowd goes, ah, because they're all read in on this. We have countless videos at rallies in Austin and Denver and New York where the left goes, soon Trump and Homan will kill a bunch of us. And when they do, that's when the uprising begins. So they're all read in on this. They all know it is the Podesta plan. They all know it's the Western Alliance. They all know it's the Western offense. And so you have the Soros NGO-funded No Kings events, like they had on the 14th of June, when the guy that worked for Tampon Tim went around reportedly, killing senators and state reps there at the state level. He later told the FBI and wrote a letter saying, no, I did this for the Democrats as a false flag, so that Tim Walz could, play victim. He supposedly had a bunch of accomplices, but they didn't help him. They caught his wife and a bunch of people with passports, guns, and money, fleeing the area. But within 2 hours of the attack, they had his roommate on TV saying, he loved Trump and Alex Jones. Isn't that interesting? It's all very scripted. But my point is, now you have the No Kings this weekend. And we now have Schumer on Monday, went on MSNBC and said, we need to have a forceful uprising. We need to have a forceful uprising. What's the exact quote? My producer's over there. So this is chilling. And he said he wants to keep the shutdown going at least until next Saturday, the 18th, to get the maximum amount of anger that they can get. You have Hakeem Jeffries saying similar things. So they're not even hiding any of this anymore.
So the idea is to whip their supporters into a frenzy, basically do BLM 5 years later.
Yes, but on a much wider scale. And so when you have, here I'll put the actual quote, when you actually have, as I have it posted on my X Law Jones, when you have these guys openly saying this, I mean, this is as big a deal as it gets. I mean, this is just,
when Senator Chuck Schumer.
Forceful uprising. I want to get it exactly right. Forceful uprising.
Chuck Schumer called for a forceful uprising?
It is a disgrace, and every American, I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative, moderate, people should be forcefully rising up against this, speaking out against it, and making it clear how inimical this is to what our democracy has been stood for more than two centuries.
Forceful uprising because of the indictment of Letitia James on mortgage fraud.
But I mean, it sounds like Letitia James committed mortgage fraud.
Well, they're only gone after in Virginia so far. New York, as you know, is even worse. And what's crazy is we have all the public documents. Total fraud, like 4 residences as primary residence, residences that she says are single-family homes, and there's 5 people, 5 apartments in it. I mean, this is serious fraud. So everything she accused Trump of doing baselessly, she's now doing, and she's the chief.
Well, that's always the way, Alex, isn't it?
Exactly. Total inversion. So everything they've accused Trump of is what they're actually doing. And then she's been caught, and now they're whining. CNN the other day said, well, everybody engages in mortgage fraud. Well, I don't.
No, I don't engage in mortgages, and much less fraud. No, but it is always just like when Bill Kristol accused me of backing an ethno-state. I was like, no, I'm not the one who backs the ethno-state. So did you know that before the current generation, chips and fries were cooked in natural fats like beef tallow? That's how things used to be done, and that's why people looked a little slimmer at the time and ate better than they do now. Well, Masa Chips is bringing that all back. They've created a tortilla chip that's not only delicious, it's made with just 3 simple ingredients. A, organic corn. B, sea salt. C, 100% grass-fed beef tallow. That's all that's in it. These are not your average chips. Masa chips are crunchier, more flavorful, even sturdier. They don't break in your guacamole. And because of the quality ingredients, they are way more filling and nourishing, so you don't have to eat 4 bags of them. You can eat just a single bag, as I do. It's a totally different experience. It's light, it's clean, it's genuinely satisfying. I have a garage full, and I can tell you they're great. The lime flavor is particularly good. We have a hard time putting those down. So if you want to give it a try, go to Masa Chips, M-A-S-A, chips.com/Tucker. Use the code Tucker for 25% off your first order. That's masachips.com/Tucker. Use the code Tucker for 25% off your first order. Prefer to shop in person? In October, Masa is going to be available at your local Sprouts supermarket. So stop by and pick up a bag before we eat them all. And we eat a lot. So Chuck Schumer saying a forceful uprising is called, he wants a forceful uprising.
He called this weekend for a forceful uprising, close quote, on MSNBC. He goes, we need to have a forceful uprising to this, similar to his, you've reaped the whirlwind thing, you're going to get it. So they're obviously agitating for more violence. You see the governor candidate in Virginia, after the AG candidate, who's been in the lead, said, I want to kill these state reps, I want to kill their children, I want to kill cops. And then the other gubernatorial candidate asked the lady, will you decry him calling for killing members of the legislature and their children by name? And she said, nope.
Abigail Spanberger.
Yeah.
I think it was a CIA officer at one point.
It's totally insane. And she sits there with this bizarre look on her face. I mean, these people are doing this on purpose, and it's called the Podesta Plan. And so I'm sure the Pentagon knows about this. The problem is most of those top generals are globalists. People that don't know, they've been put through all the schools. They don't get promoted unless they're globalists. Most of our generals have been bad since the 90s. They teach them at the Army War College. I've read these reports that literally America needs to end. We need to be part of a world government. That communism is good.
So let's just narrow it down. If you really believe that widespread civil unrest preparatory to civil war is coming, if Chuck Schumer, one of the senior senators, is calling for it, then you really need to make sure the military is under control, that it's not politicized, that it's not, that it reports to the president as it's constitutionally mandated to do. Like the military is the key, correct?
Yes, and I loved Hegseth's speech, and that's the right direction. But we need more of that. And a lot of the generals were rolling their eyes, giggling, putting their heads in their hands. And I guarantee you, just go, okay, who's that guy? Look at his record. He's going to be a commie, a leftist.
But wouldn't you, I mean, it would be almost an emergency situation. You would need to make certain that the general officers in your military were loyal to the Constitution.
Exactly. And the left and the corporate media act like if Trump wants prosecutions, he's not supposed to do that. No, he's a chief law enforcement officer. We elected him for that. We elect one man in the general election. You know, all of us vote, have an ability to vote for only one position. And so it's not Trump's right. It's his duty. It's only the president that makes a special oath, not to just protect, preserve, and defend, but protect and defend like the rest of the military do, but to protect and preserve and defend. He's supposed to preserve the republic. So 400 troops to Chicago, 200 to Portland. This is nothing. They're openly waiting to gear up the violence. Then they're going to false flag, I believe, some of the illegal aliens or traditional black college, which I predicted this before. They evacuated the traditional black colleges a month ago. And said,
I didn't even know that. Why?
And said Charlie Kirk's supporters are coming to kill you. Then it turned out it was a false flag. They admitted fake calls. That's the left, because Carville and Podesta and all of them, John Podesta, have said on TV, now that they've gone live with the Podesta plan when Trump was president-elect, and then once he got in, there's hundreds of videos of them all on there saying, Carville, now listen, it's 1776 part 2. I can't really do his voice. Can't do a Louisiana voice, sorry. He said, black people got to be ready. Trump's coming to kill you with Tom Homan. You got to have your guns and be ready. The View, we got to be ready to fight and die. They're coming to kill us. On CNN, they'll be sitting there debating, yeah, Trump's coming with the military to kill black people and Hispanics. And then I think, well, where could there be a group of Hispanics, an illegal alien demonstration or something, then somebody from a parking garage mows a bunch of them down, blames it on some Trump supporter, or where is a bunch of black folks by themselves, traditional black college? So I've been saying that for 8-9 months, seeing their programming, how they're saying Trump's going to kill masses of Hispanics and blacks. Well, where can they do a false flag? Those two places and a few others. Then a month ago, they evacuated most of the black colleges for a week, saying Charlie Kirk supporters are coming to kill you, trying to piggyback on that and create this illusion that Trump supporters blamed black people for this. No, we blame, if you believe the official story, some trans supporter cult members. So absolutely, going back to your point, there needs to be Pentagon mobilization. Trump needs to address the nation on this, talk about the Podesta plan. Any of his crew, I can send it to him, can put a reel together like he did when they said no South African farmers are being killed. He just showed a 5-minute video. It devastated him. I can send them a 10-minute clip of hundreds of clips of top Democrats saying Trump's coming to kill the migrants. He's coming to kill the blacks. We got to rise up. We got to have a civil war. And then I can show the quotes from the Podesta plan laying this out. This is the official Democrat Party battle plan with production movies, $350 million budgets, Civil War, promoting it. Now the new movie, Battle After Battle, with DiCaprio, where it's set in a fictional fantasy land in the U.S. where they have this hot sex and it's so awesome, and they go around with plastic explosives and dynamite machine guns killing ICE officers all over the U.S. and freeing Hispanics from concentration camps. So Hollywood's not, making its constant Holocaust movies about World War II. They've moved on to the new Holocaust that isn't happening. The first one did, of just Tom Homan just machine gunning Hispanic women and raping them in dungeons. I mean, it's like Machete Kills, where there's Don Johnson shooting pregnant Hispanic women in the stomach with deer rifles. Didn't happen, folks. But Hollywood is providing this background right on time for these uprisings there's planning, because the globalists are losing. This is their last big move. And I'll say it again, the Podesta plan, the Podesta plan, we've got to get the Podesta plan that we're now living in the launch of in front. So Trump's declared Antifa, domestic terrorist, international terrorist. He said they're going after Soros, which I know the DOJ is. That's great. But this is the Democratic Party running it. That's why they say Antifa doesn't exist, because we got documents 10 years ago through Friends of Democracy and Alexander Soros, where they command them in each city, give them orders, where to attack, what to do. It is all 100% specifically road mapped out, open and shut, racketeering, domestic terrorism, send them to prison with the documents we have.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.